Dear J.K. Rowling, I saved this video for last mostly because I could not put into words the respect and admiration I have for you, as well as just how much you've impacted me. So I often talk about how I first got started reading Harry Potter. I was feeling a little bit alone and left out at my cousin's house because all my cousins were older than me at the time, and they were off playing a game, and I was just sitting in my cousin's room, and I picked up a book off the shelf, and it happened to be Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That just became my life after I started reading it. I have loved Harry Potter ever since I was that 6 or 7-year-old reading that book. In a way, I felt like the little boy under the stairs all alone, and I really related to Harry in that way. I mean, obviously I wasn't abused like Harry was with the Dursleys, but that's really what hooked me in. You had such an ordinary kid who happened to do extraordinary things and become extraordinary and be the boy who lived, but what really hooks you is the fact that Harry is such an ordinary kid, and you did that so well that it hooked me from when I was 7 years old and reading my first chapter books. And ever since then, I've been a massive Harry Potter fan. In this letter, I'm going to talk about Harry Potter and how much that's impacted me, but first I wanted to talk about you, Joanne Kathleen Rowling, and how you have impacted me outside of your books, because you really have. Reading about you and, you know, just interacting with you in some ways. I've never actually met you, but interacting with, I guess, the idea of you has really shaped my life, because you were a single mother when you wrote Harry Potter, and you still wrote it. And that showed me that, you know, anyone can write a book and it can be amazing. Maybe not necessarily as massively successful as yours, but just that anyone could write a book. And that has shaped my life in so many ways, mostly because I want to eventually become a published author, and that it has been one of my life goals ever since I started reading your book. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people in my generation feel that way. You really shaped my generation in terms of that, and also just in terms of how much I feel like you've shaped me, at least, in terms of how much respect I have for, you know, the adults in my life, in a way, because you have talked a lot about your parents and how it was really when your mother died that you realized how much grief Harry would be in despite not having known his parents, and that made me appreciate what I have a lot. And I'm so lucky to have so many maternal and paternal figures in my life. Just the fact that you were a single mother raising a child when you wrote Harry Potter, and the fact that you were grieving your own parents' death really really shaped Harry Potter, but it also shaped the context in which Harry Potter was being written. Since I'm the type of person who like looks up everything and really delves into a person's life when I'm interested in them, I learned so much about you and your struggles and how you overcame them to eventually become a wildly successful author. It really inspired me, and it made me feel very, very grateful for what I have. I'm very grateful for the opportunities I have, because it's really been a downpour of opportunities for me, and I know for a lot of people it's not. And I am lucky enough to have a privileged background, and I know that you weren't as privileged all the time, and it really made me aware of that. And I know that sounds like something very self-serving towards me. It really helped me see people as more than just extensions of myself, and I learned that very early on in life, and I thank you for that, because just, you know, looking you up, I guess, and also reading your books helped me understand the different backgrounds people come from. This one time when I was little, I've been a vegetarian all my life, and I kind of assumed that all Indians were vegetarians because I just knew a lot of people with similar backgrounds as me, so I just assumed that every Indian was a vegetarian, and when I encountered someone that wasn't, I was very, very confused. But that kind of made me realize, oh, people are different from me. And very, very soon after, I read your book, and then I realized how many people can be different from each other, and how people of different backgrounds can still be such good friends, like Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and who all come from vastly different backgrounds. It's a really important message to send to kids, that people from lower incomes and higher incomes can be friends, people of, you know, different opinions can be friends. Take Ron and Hermione, who eventually fall in love, and just people are allowed to be different from each other, and you can respect each other's opinions and still be friends while being different from each other. That was such an important lesson for me to learn, and I'm really glad that I got to learn through your books instead of just through, you know, personal experiences of being ignorant. So it really taught me a lesson in my own ignorance and how I could be aware of it and be aware of it in the future. And I really thank you for that learning opportunity. And speaking of learning opportunities, Harry Potter just had so many learning opportunities, including that. Harry Potter has taught me so much. What Harry Potter really did for me was teach me to ask the big questions in life and ask the hard questions and apply them to my own life and to, you know, the world in general. Harry Potter really taught me how to do that, because just the other day I was thinking about how Fred and George in the 5th book quit Hogwarts and left school, but eventually became successful anyway. And that is such an important lesson to learn, because a lot of people are very elitist and believe that there's only one route to success. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was learning that there are many different routes to success, and there are many different kinds of success. For example, Fred and George are just very, very successful entrepreneurs, while Ron and Harry go on to become successful aurors. And that is just such an important thing to learn at a young age, and that just comes so much from your message of acceptance. I mean, yes, a lot of Harry Potter was an allegory to World War II and things, and discrimination and things of that nature. There are the broad picture messages about acceptance, but the little things, the little details in your book show that it doesn't just have to be large-scale acceptance. Small-scale acceptance really counts, and it really helps, you know, people appreciate each other. I just feel like all 7 of the Harry Potter books are about that, and just shaped so much of my life. Gosh, it's hard to say everything that's happened in my life because of Harry Potter in one video. Yes, Harry Potter has taught me so many lessons in terms of acceptance, but not only that, it inspired me to pursue writing myself when I realized that, oh, J.K. Rowling is a real human person who is alive right now, unlike the books I used to read, which were just like Enid Blyton and Nancy Drew books and stuff. The authors of those books were kind of just mythical creatures in my mind, and you were an actual person doing actual things and actively writing. And that made me realize, oh, real people do this. I can do this. And that just helped me so much. And another big picture question that I started thinking about just today actually was the question of, should politics be in schools? Because I was just thinking about how Professor Umbridge is such a political character, and how that really changes the culture at Hogwarts, and how Dumbledore's politics makes the culture makes a different culture at Hogwarts, and how politics plays a role in kids' educations. And that made me think about how that could have played a role in my own education. And that's just such an important thing to talk about, because I know that at least while I was in elementary and middle school, the teachers were not allowed to talk about their own politics whatsoever, or give out their opinions, but sometimes they did it in a subtle way. And I was thinking about how maybe that impacted me more than I thought, and how Harry was so influenced by Dumbledore, and a lot of times not realizing just how much he was. Another thing about your life is that, well, I'm currently, listening to Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In on audiobook, and that's like the furthest thing from Harry Potter you can think of, but every time she talked about leaning in, like sitting at the table and leaning in, even though she's talking about business, I realized how much that applied to your life, and how you took an active role in your career and have written beyond Harry Potter as well. And I haven't read the Robert Galbraith books yet, but I do look forward to it. And you took charge of that, and you decided not to try to live up to people's expectations and write another Harry Potter, even though you're writing other stuff for Harry Potter, which I'm very, very excited about. Honestly, I just wanted to thank you for shaping my life from such a young age, and in such a positive way. It's very hard to find role models a lot of the time, and a lot of the times your fave is a little bit problematic, but you've never been that for me. You've always been the role model that you've always been the kind of person I aspire to be, and the kind of writer I aspire to be, because just the world you created is so vast and has so much depth, despite the fact that it is for children. And I wanted to just thank you for allowing me to grow up with Harry Potter, because that really is what you did. I grew up with Harry Potter, and I grew up with you in my life for so long that, despite the fact that I haven't read a Harry Potter book in a couple of years now, it's still so in my life. It's still so prevalent in my life. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to read your books and have someone to look up to, and someone so strong and so just good and so charitable. Actually, I didn't talk about that, but you are just so charitable, and you support so many underprivileged people, especially with Lumos, and you encourage your fans to do the same. And you've inspired a whole generation of people to be better people. You've inspired me to be a better person, and you're just amazing, and I thank you for everything you've done so far, and I can't wait to see more of what you do, because I feel like you will continue to do amazing things. Harry Potter isn't the only amazing thing you've done or will do, and it will be in a variety of things, like your charities and your screenplays now, and your other books. And I can't wait to see what you do next. And thank you so much, J.K. Rowling, for just being present and alive. Thanks. So Switching gears now to my actual viewers, because I highly doubt J.K. Rowling will watch this, although I hope she does because she's just such a lovely person and I would love to have any acknowledgement from her possible. So in the comments below, let me know about your experience with Harry Potter if you have any. Since this is the final open letter video for this little series, let me know what you want to see next from me. And I loved these open letters, so if you just want to see more of these, I'll definitely do that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Only 7 days. It's been a great ride, so thank you all for that. I will see you next time with a new video. Bye!